Andrew McCart, IFLTV, delighted to be joined by Maxi Hughes after a 10-round battle with Gary Cully. How do you assess your performance, big man?
Was it a battle or was it a clinic?
You know what, it was a good fight. I enjoyed it. I enjoyed
Yeah.
Gary showed his toughness and you showed that you do have power. People might say that Maxi Hughes doesn't carry power, but I mean, you're deceiving because you can whack, especially these last two fights that I've seen against the Estafios and Gary Cully. You do pack a punch.
Yeah, it's something I've never been worried about. You know, I let my opponents try and say, oh, he doesn't hit. But I know I do. You know, my sparring partners, my gym mates, they say, fuck's sake, have you had a bad day today, Max? Because you're beating us up. So it's not something I worry about. And I think, I'm saying to you yesterday, I just find it so easy to box and move. It comes so natural, so I do that. But with this fight, I thought, I wanna let him go. I wanna work. I wanna cause some pain, and I knew the shots would present themselves. And I knew I'd be able to find them quite easy. So it shows when I say right, it's hard, and I'm gonna let him go. I can feel it in my hands. My hands are a little bit sore. So you know, when I want to turn it on, I can turn it on.
Maxi, the cut. I think it happened in the 6th or 7th round. A lot of people were saying it's going to get stopped. You hit him with some good shots. You hurt him late on. Was there a point in that fight where you thought that stoppage would come?
Yeah, I thought it got I think I buzzed him in first round. You know, we come out, he started letting his jab go, and I was like, God, I thought it'd be harder to read, you know, with his size. But again, my footwork, I believe in my feet. And then I think the cut actually happened in the first or second round, just a nick, because the referee come over and said, punch caused by blow, and then like you say, it was either 5th or 6th where I kept landing the overhand left and it just opened up, and then again we got on well with Tommy McCormack, who's Gary's cutman, and he was saying, you give me some work to do there.
You certainly did. It was a nasty cut, and yeah, it's a fight that had a little bit of needle towards it, especially that we saw a side of Maxi that we hadn't seen in the press conference and stuff, and now you know yourself, there's no honest conversation any two men can have when share the ring 10 or 12 rounds.
Settle it.
And is that sort of animosity, whatever it was, squashed now that you've shared that ring with Gary?
Yeah, again, respect to Gary. It's not that I dislike him out like that. The needle for me was, obviously the fight was supposed to happen years ago, and he's been on my tail since. And then I got offered the fight last year before Kambosos, and didn't take it because I wanted a bigger fight. And my argument was, I'm bigger and onto bigger things than Gary. At the time, I was IBO champion. Didn't feel like he deserved to be in the ring with me. So I was like, I want to fight George Kambosos, the former undisputed champion. And not a lot of people, but some people are like, oh, he's ducking Cully. And I was like, oh, he's going to get smashed by Cully if he fought Cully. And that I took it a bit personal, well, fuck. I'll fuck it. If the fight ever does happen, I'll show you I'm better than Cully. So I carried that in there with me, and that's what you saw. That was the needle, that was the spite, thinking, I want to show you that this kid don't belong in the ring with me. You know, fair play to him, he kept trying, I kept hurting him, and he stuck it out till end. You know, he showed me something I thought he might quit or his corner might throw a towel in, but he carried on. But you know, I had his number, and that's what it were about for me, showing everybody, especially those who ever doubted me, that I'm better, and my experience and my ability will get me through.
Were you surprised at his toughness? Because you did clock him with some good shots, plus the cut. Were you surprised at how tough he was in there?
Yeah, at first he was dabbing at it, and he went into a little bit of a shell, and I was like, I fucking got he's there. He's in the palm of my hand. But you know, fair play to him. He carried on fighting, and he carried on trying. His corner were shouting all sorts, you know, to try and get him in to do this and do that. But I just had an answer for everything.
After the fight, you said at the press conference that there is a sort of 2-fight deal, extension or option on you from Mr. Eddie Hearn. Now, Eddie Hearn's got a sizable amount of lightweights, Riyadh season, all this sort of stuff that there's a potential that you might be on. Again, it's early. You've probably not spoke to Eddie, or did you say anything into the ring reference these 2 fights?
I let him know that the only fight I would step up to 140, as we discussed, is the Kambosos. But if he's got something big lined up, I'm not getting in the way of that. But yeah, for me, just the big fights, the big paydays, and we'll see. You know, Eddie were quite pleased again. He introduced me to some royalty. So yeah, he seemed
you've
happy.
You've been with me all week.
Sir Francis,
Scottish royalty.
Sir Francis Begbie.
Sir Francis Begbie.
Franco.
You're dosh cunt.
So yeah, I think Eddie seemed happy and happy to be working together again. So yeah, we'll see what he can do. But you know, between Lou DeBella as well, we've got Alex here sitting, our lawyer.
He's sitting there watching some boxing shows on the TV.
So Alex is going over to Riyadh for next week, so maybe he could drop my name in there, and we'll see what happens.
You mentioned to me that if Schofield drops out of that Shakur Stevenson fight somehow, some way, that you want to be top of the list to replace Schofield. So does that mean Christmas is cancelled?
It's not cancelled. Like, I live pretty well anyway. So it's not like I'm going to be a fat pig over Christmas. I don't live like that anyway. So I'll have a couple of days, just let my hands recover, and I'll just train around it. I'll carry on running. I've now got an assault bike in the garage, a treadmill.
Ooh.
I'm also
they're about £1,000, by the way, just let everyone know.
I know, Facebook Marketplace, 350 quid.
Bargain.
And I'm eyeing up a ski erg, because I think they're a great bit of kit. So I'll just, I might not be able to punch.
You can do a high rocks in your own garden.
Yeah. So I might not be able to punch, but I will be working out. I enjoy working out. It's how me and my wife live. It's something we want to show our kids. So we live the clean life. A few little treats, but I'll be back training, and if that fight's there, I'll be ready if something goes wrong.
One final one. When we spoke last night when we done that interview, we spoke about the Liam Walsh and a little bit about the thought that when you came out that Liam Walsh fight, you sort of had that retirement thoughts. You said you weren't good enough. You didn't to ever win the British title. Then you turned out. You done a complete 180. You came back to boxing. John O'Carroll, what was his name out in Dubai?
Victor Kotochikov.
Yeah, Kotochikov, and then it just went on from there. And there, IBO, the British title you got from Highland as well. So for Gary being 28, the age you were against Liam Walsh, for any other fighter out there that has suffered these losses, it doesn't define you, especially if you're young and you want to win it. If you've got targets and you've got goals, you can achieve it. I just want to, if you can send a message to these young fighters that, listen, a loss doesn't define you. Look at me.
Yeah, absolutely. The loss, like, we again look at the history of boxing. All your favourite fighters, other than there's very few who retire undefeated. All the greats have been in there with the best and lost, and they come back. So you just got to have a look in the mirror of accountability. Ask yourself, do you want it? How much do you want it? Are you willing to get over that loss, get back to it, and get to work? If you want it, it's like, you want something bad enough, you'll go out and get it. I wanted to win belts and box on shows like this and travel around the world and be a full-time boxer, and I get to live that. And I did it through hard work. I wasn't an amateur superstar. I just work hard because I want it. I want it enough.
Definitely. Max, one final one then before I let Parsons jump in here. I've been called the Scottish James Bond, not once, not twice, but 3 times. Even Sean called me the Scottish James Bond when he saw me come down them stairs. Mate, do you agree?
Yes, but as we just saw you turn the camera on, you can't fight like James Bond, and I think it's a lie that he can.
Go, let me see if I can squeeze in.
Let me see a few jabs. Let me see a few jabs. Look at that.
Oh, look at the sleeves.
So that just shows James Bond is bullshit, because Andy looks like James Bond.
And them jabs were terrible. Let me do that again. I'm going to cut that out.
Le Chief would punch your head in if you tried to do that at him.
I'm more, you know me. I'm no Scottish James Bond. I'm who? Where's the fucking kid?
Sir Francis
Begbie.
Franco.
So, listen, Maxi, congratulations on a fantastic win. Your wife's behind me, so I better not mention the 2 fights that you're going to have.
The extra year in boxing.
Yeah, that extra year in boxing. But listen, enjoy it when you can, because it's a short career. And congratulations on a fantastic win.
Happy Christmas, everyone.
You too. Thanks, Maxi. Bye-bye.